thing. But
yeah, it looks like we're very close to games beginning here as things are underway, folks, as we're back in with what looks like, Eric, a London system to start things off here, as we are live in London as well. So obviously, nice to see this opening make an appearance.
Yeah, I'm sure you have a few comments here. This is one of your specialties.
Oh, it certainly is. Yep, we have a very dangerous line in terms of a move order chosen here by Black, and that's because you can include a move like knight h5 as early as right now, which is why the move knight f3, it honestly does invite the move knight h5. I'm curious if we're going to see it. Usually the move knight to f3 this early, it's not one that I would recommend instead of playing the move h3 in order to secure the bishop, because in this case, sometimes you'll see a variation, knight to f4, another one, you'll see this knight drop back. I don't think you'll actually capture on h4 here, but strangely enough, knight to f4, I think, is one of the top moves here, and likely the move that we're going to see. Pawn will take, and now you take on h4 with some interesting dynamic play. The g2 pawn weak on the open file.
What do you say? This is Magnus taking risks again by even allowing this variation?
I do think so, because I think this is an achievement for Black, put it that way. And you'll take any imbalanced position, in my opinion, given the match situation here. I don't think this is ideal for White. So yeah, after the Benoni, a little bit surprising, but more risks being taken.
This just looks good for Black. I mean, is queen e5 the only move? How do you defend f4 and d4? But queen e5 allows a queen trade. The bishops are open. Rook g8 is a move. g2 is weak. d6, it feels like just two bishops.
Yeah.
Steady advantage.
I'm concerned about h3 as well. If you play queen e5 and trade, pawn h3, taking advantage of that diagonal, that's why we see d5, which might be the best move, that being considered. However, you're opening that diagonal for the dark square bishop. On g7, if you're going to castle queenside, it's going to come under a lot of fire. Not to mention, we dropped a pawn here. This is not the way that you wanted to come out of that break, Eric.
I don't think so, but we're not sure if Magnus made that choice or not. Did he allow this line on purpose or maybe misremember? But for Denis, getting this type of position, maybe it's not in his normal style, but the match situation, it's just a good position.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Bishop c4, look, at this point, the knight on c3, there's nothing you can do. Black wants to take it, the pawns have to be doubled. There's no way you can just allow that pawn on d5 to fall. This move, not what I was expecting. I kind of thought that we might see the knight. Well, I don't know if knight a6 was the right move right away, but queenside castling. That felt like the move that you wanted to play, but d takes e6 was a threat in that previous position, so you can understand why he wanted to get the king out.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if Denis should have given up his dark squared bishop, taken on c3. This looks okay, but feels like White's lead in development is a bit noticeable here. You have a move like rook g1 next, and I can envision a future where the rook lifts up to g4, you win back your pawn, or you get some counterplay on that bishop on g7.
Agreed. Yeah, this doesn't quite seem right. As Black, it almost was correct to take on c3, as you mentioned, play this exact variation, but perhaps the other way around, before castling. If that would have been a lot different. g4 is a way to keep things closed, but Magnus is starting to take control of the position. Maybe h3 or f3 next, Eric. Things are going to open up, and Black's king is looking exposed.
Yeah, winning the pawn back and having, like, the moves are easy, and we're seeing the time situation. Magnus he's up a minute. Obviously still playing against the bishop pair here, so if you go, double rooks in the g file, I think the bishop on g7 can find a safe square. But there's some tactics to watch out for. So let's take a look. Rook hg1, maybe bishop h6.
Yep, exactly. Bishop h6 is fairly safe. There are some ideas with rook g1 and rook h5 that you need to be careful of as well. I think that's critical here. Yeah,
can you play bishop h6, rook h5? Does your rook get trapped?
That's right.
What's going on?
That's right. Rook h5, king
h7,
bishop d3 check, and having that move f5 available is key.
Is his plan to meet rook g8 and play, like, I don't know, rook g5?
Yeah, rook g5, rook g3, just something to discourage the capture, and both moves look very tempting, as you still have that idea of bishop d3. This is such a funny position. Rook g5, rook g6. Black is trying to shuffle the king over to g7 and threaten bishop takes on g5.
Just see a position here where white drops the bishop back to d3, provoking f5, and then, yeah, knight f3, knight e5. A very natural path for the knight. Some things to solve for Denis.
Absolutely. This is not where Denis wanted this position to go. I think Magnus will be very happy, despite the fact that there is the bishop pair. This is not the bishop pair that you're used to, right? No scope for the bishop on b7 or on h6 currently due to this strange position, and time, yet again, becomes a factor.
You can take on g6 at any moment. So Magnus is thinking here, do I take now or can I build the position? Play f4, maybe h4, start grabbing more space in the meantime. Because, yeah, the rook on g6 is stuck.
Yeah, and I almost want to guard the g-pawn before I capture, so that if the king takes, I can just play rook h6. And I don't have to worry that my g-pawn is not defended.
f4 seems the most natural in that case then.
Yeah, especially because h4, I start to get worried that my rook will be trapped on h5. So f4 I like because now there's a path backwards. Now this is exciting because you're not actually taking the rook right away, continuing to delay it. Bishop takes f7. You're not actually winning.
Just sacking the exchange.
Just sacking
going for a mating, pretty much a mating net, I think.
Yeah, f6 is there.
Bishop g6. You can't trade rooks on h8 because of knight f7.
Oh, that's really tough.
Well, then that's it.
Yep, and now there's knight f3 among, maybe knight f7 among other things. 2 pieces for the rook plus the extra pawn there as well to go with it, and the fact that white can just play h5, maneuver the knight to g4, and another win for Magnus Carlsen.